Yeah, we're working on it, every single day. We're just trying to, know that we're a really good team, and that we are a team that just can't let little stuff like that happen, because it's the little things in the games that can come up with the loss. But man, for me, I don't want that to ever happen again. I think we're just too good of a team to let anything slip up in the creases. So, moving forward, we're addressing it as a team. We're addressing it as a leadership committee to the whole team. So, we know what we got to do, and we know that the capability of what we have on this team, and we just can't let that little stuff happen again.
How do you address it as a leader? Is it something you can say to the guys, or is that just something that you just have to go do it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you just got to go do it. I mean, everybody needs to create a mindset of just dominance, man, and you can't let anything like that happen again. But we want to come together as leadership guys, and just instill that in the whole team, and just say it every single day until they get tired of hearing it. We just gotta do it. So that's the main thing for us, and that's what we got to do moving forward.
How do you describe the emotion of this team after Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I hate to lose. Kobe always says you hate to lose, hate to win. I mean, but at the end of the day, it sucks. But we know this is early in the season, and we got a whole bunch of games left to play, and we want to keep winning these games, and understand that this one loss just needs to be put to bed, and it needs to be a learning experience, and we learn from it, and now we need to take it in and continue to keep playing the football that we like to be playing.
Are guys in the locker room after the game screaming, throwing helmets like that?
Oh, no.
Or is it just...
No, not at all. We obviously it gets a little quiet in there, but when we all come together as a team, we understand that we have to move on from it, and I appreciate this team a lot, because obviously at the last play of the game, I fumbled, but the whole team was always like right next to me and just close to me, and just saying, we got this, B, you good, just keep your head up, and it really encouraged me, because my faith takes me so high, and I try not to really get down on myself, but the teammates and the coaches really helped me out in that situation. So I just know that's what kind of team we have, and I know that we just really love each other, and we just want to just continue to get better.
How long do things like that stick with you, or does it still?
No, it's already gone. In the moment, obviously it it sucks, but for me, it's a learning lesson, and God put that in my lap for me to learn from it, and to grow from it, so I can become the best player I can be for this team. And so I think it's just a learning lesson for me, but I can't go back and look at it and go back and be like, man, like I fumbled, because if I start thinking about that, then it starts clouding my mind. So I just kind of leave it alone, and just that's just something that just can't happen again.
That's a different dynamic for you, though. You're the guy that's usually comforting the teammates when they make a mistake, and now they're picking you up. How does that say about your locker room?
Man, it says a lot, and I know that that's really a God thing, because I mean that's a big moment for me that I have to learn from, and I know that those guys in there realize that, and when they were picking me up, I was like, man, like I really do love these guys, because anything could have happened. They could have man, you did this, why'd you do this? They could have done anything, but they all just came by my side and was like, we got you, B. You're good, and we just got to move on from this, and play a lot better next week. So I appreciate those guys a lot for what they were doing, on Saturday.
Does the team need to get angry a little bit, though?
Oh yeah. We need to go into every game, knowing that we don't get a lot of respect from nobody. So we need to go in there to play like that. I know for me, I'm gonna start encouraging the team. We need to play with I don't want to say anger, because you never want to play with anger, but play with a chip on our shoulder. Every single week, that everybody's against us, and that's okay. That needs to be talked about in the locker room, but it needs to develop a chip on our shoulder to go in there and just want to dominate.
It looked like the interior of the offensive line was struggling against Tech's front, making it hard for y'all to get consistency in the running game, especially late in the game.
Yep.
What did you see, and what needs to happen there?
Yeah, those guys, they came back today, just knowing like they need to be, the dominant players that they are. Tech did a good job of, scheming and getting around to get in the backfield. But, I know our O-line knows that, those guys are really good and that, when that run game clicks, then, it's just hard for any defense to stop us. So, they came back today and put in the work in practice. And I even talked to them. I was like, guys, when you guys play up to, the best level you guys can play at, it's just going to be hard to stop our offense. It doesn't matter what it is, run or pass. So they realize it, and they're going to come back today and look over that film and understand everything and, get better as the week goes on.
Do you think the moment was, because those 2 3-and-outs came right at a critical time, do you think it's, you've got young guys on that offensive line, they're still learning the moment?
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad that came up for them so that they don't get spooked in those kind of moments anymore, and that they just understand that, every moment's a big moment. It doesn't matter what time throughout the game it is. Every play needs to be 100%. Every play needs to be, the play that may be your last. So I tell those guys all the time, especially now, now we see, what could happen. So we just need to go back and fix it so, it doesn't happen again.
Bijan, you talk about putting the fumble behind you. Does any part of you hold on? You completely eliminate it? Or
Yeah.
do you use any of it as motivation, chip on your shoulder to have more juice to it?
Yeah, I use it as learning. So today I have a football in my backpack, so I've been walking around with the football in both hands everywhere I go. And Coach Choice, when I walked in, he walked in there, he looked at me, he was like, "Here you go, B, just do it. Just make it muscle memory, just fix it and just learn it." He was Coach Choice was the guy, to come up to me and was like, "It's okay, man. Like I've done this before too." And he told me his experience when he fumbled in the game. So it's really good to have a coach that's done it before. And now that I'm actually doing that, I actually do feel, me starting to just get used to the ball in my hands, and I just appreciate it for that.
That's not last one of those bits where like guys are trying to knock it out of your hands, take it back.
Oh yeah, it is. Not take it back to coach, but they're trying to everybody's trying to knock it out of my hands. Even there was a student that tried to knock it out of my hands. So I was like, dang.
Just walking on campus?
Just walking on campus. Just walking back.
Did Coach George, was that his idea for you to have a football walking around?
Yeah. He knows. It's rare. It was in that moment that I fumbled, but it's a big moment, so I don't ever want that to happen again. So I'm trying to just do it now so I can fix it, for later.
Why'd you only get 17 touches?
I think 17 touches is actually a pretty good amount. I know in a game like that, that I know what Sark would say is, that's a good amount of carries, but if it's in a game like that, the defense was on the field for a long period of time, so it was just kind of harder to get those kind of carries. So it's just the situations of the game.
Do you think this team is better prepared mentally, after the double-digit leads that were lost in the third quarter last year to handle this one?
Yeah, because we were all saying, we were like, nah, like we really can't let this happen again, because it did happen a lot last year, and we don't like having those double-digit leads in the first half or in the first 3, maybe 4 quarters, and then a team comes back like that. So now we're really seeing it, and now that it's a new year, now we need to just go back and handle it and make sure that those things like that just can't happen again.
You didn't fumble today.
I didn't fumble today. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. They tried to. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.